Want to increase your chances of landing that job? Then look no further. Our sponsor for today's episode, Coach TC, has what you need. For CV writing, interviewing, and networking coaching, reach out to him on both Facebook and Instagram using the same name, Daily CV Writing Tips. Alternatively, you can even use the phone number that's written down in the description section. Use it on WhatsApp, give him a call. You know what you want to do. You do what you got to do. But reach out to him and get that CV spruced up.
Something's missing, man. Yeah. That sounds about right. Class of 2019. Let me be honest, I be smoking grass. I'm trying to burn memories of snakes from my past. The nightlife got me sleepless when I look for cash. Flood his headlights, shine my path when I hit the gas. Simply put, I ain't worried about nothing. I got so much to learn that I ain't worried about fumbling. They lacking the knowledge, but my city make assumptions. We killing everybody this time, no exceptions. Did I mention, got the rap game on my mattress.
Hello and welcome to the African Millennial Podcast, and it is the new year. This is 2021, and this is the first episode that we're giving you out. And just to start off the year in a new way, in a new mood, in a new drive, we're starting out with Vainah, and we're going to be going on a co-hosted series of podcast episodes. She'll be there. She'll be the co-host for like the longest time. So Vainah, can you get in, just tell the people how you've been in 2021? Not contract COVID from 2020.
Okay, it's great being here 2021. I hope everyone who's listening is staying safe, they're masking up, with the pandemic going on. We're back and we are definitely going to be serving up some juicy topics, and hopefully we get your engagement. I do encourage that
Yeah,
you follow us on social media, our Instagram pages. That's the African Millennial and Samuka Arise. We are also on Facebook and Twitter. So definitely, follow us so you hear what we're doing, what we're up to, what we're talking about. We might throw in some lives in there. So you want to be part of that because this year it's hot. So yeah,
it
it
is.
is what it is.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
and I mean, apologies guys for not publishing any episodes in the month of January. It's actually Vainah's fault, if I can say. I
Um,
mean, it's your fault, right?
no, not really, not really. We actually had a lot of things to talk about because a lot of things happened in January. We should have addressed them there and
Yep.
then, but we are going to catch up. Don't worry. All the issues that were burning and you really wanted to talk about in January, we will talk about them. Hopefully, some of them are still relevant, but definitely we're covering everything.
Yes, sir. So a lot of things are changing, and this is it. This is how we can do this. So starting February, you're gonna have a whole new episode, or rather podcast, and it's mainly gonna be dominated by Vanna and myself.
Mhm,
She's gonna be crowding on our space.
mhm.
So y'all's gotta get used to that. Yeah. So once again, don't forget, if you have your business and you want a business or service and you want it advertised on this platform, just contact us on our Gmail or Instagram or Twitter. Our details will be right in the description section, so you can check them out. Like I said, like Vina said, actually follow us, like, subscribe, do all that stuff on our Instagram, on our socials. Everything is provided for you down there in the description section. So
Mhm.
interact with the description section, people. Interact with it.
Yes.
So, so yeah, I guess 2021, and we have a very juicy topic for today. I mean, do you want to introduce it, or should I? Because I want to introduce it.
Okay, okay, go
I
ahead.
like it. It's called the pun. It's called the pawn song.
I know people
It's
are
the
already
it's
like,
the
what?
pumpy song. It's called the Pornpisode,
Yep.
right? It's like porn and episode combined together. I don't know who came up with Pornpisode.
We did.
Yo, Anyway, yeah, so it's the porn episode. We're talking about addictions, abuse, exploitation, and revenge porn. I know people are crazy right now about revenge porn, and it's more like the order of the day on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
wow. Wow. Whoa. But I guess it's something that has to be, we need to obviously get into, uh, talk about it at length, and, just obviously just share our experiences. And then again, disclaimer, at the end of the day, these are our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we feel about the subject. So
Mm-hmm.
don't chill be coming up against us saying, yo, he say that, she say that.
If
No, this is
I actually feel like if there's anyone who's really burning and they have their opinion and they really wanted to get up in here, we could have
Yep,
an episode where we just have them and we talk about it, you know.
exactly. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you feel like you have an opinion on some of the topics that we're discussing on, and you feel like you really want to join in the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole point. Just come on in, and we'll accommodate you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have an episode set up specifically with you, and you can get your voice and your ideas out there. We're very welcome to the point, and we're very interested in you guys doing that. So please, please, please
Mm-hmm.
hit us up
Yep.
and join us in this discussion.
Yes.
So I guess first question I want to ask you, Violet, before we get into
Mm-hmm.
porn, like my dad always says, it's porn is not, it's not like we have a lot of porn these days.
Okay.
Yeah, see, we do not have an increase in porn. We just have an increase in access.
Oh, okay. That's an
We,
interesting perspective.
yeah, he says my dad is always is on this. We always everything bad or whatever happens in the world, it's not that you're not getting a lot of it these days.
Mm-hmm.
You're just getting access to it. You're just getting more access or more exposure to it.
Which is
It's
true.
it always was there. Like a lot of people are talking about people getting more promiscuous these days,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not that people are getting more promiscuous these days. You're just getting exposed to that. So
I don't know.
yeah.
Like,
So how do you feel about porn? How do you feel about porn?
well, I will start firstly by saying there's this judge from Ohio. His name is Judge Stewart. And what he said is, he can't define porn, but he knows it when he sees it. And and yes, now there's more access due to advancements in technology and the internet. But fun fact, if
Mhm,
you're one of those people who watch a lot of podcasts, documentaries, and all, there's a whole podcast that was done by the BBC about how pornography made this current economy. It's called 50 Things That Made the Modern Economy, and there's an episode of
mhm,
porn. So, what they then talk about is, when we talk about the history of porn, initially it was mostly pictures, and at some point there were booths, like where naked people would be, and you would pay for them to open the door for you to see a naked person. And then with the introduction of the internet, it became more
mhm.
accessible. So, because people wanted to access it faster,
Yeah.
most tech invest, well, not most of them, but a large chunk that were influential enough invested in the development of the internet so that it's faster, solely for the reason of porn, because people wanted to watch videos on their computers, on their desktops. So initially the internet was slow. So we can then thank
Yeah.
the internet being fast to the porn industry. But
Wait. Hold up. You saying we should think that we should think?
that
Wait, did you just say we should think the internet being fast? Now that we can access.
yes, No, not for the access bit, but people were motivated by porn to
That's
make
what I heard.
to make
I
internet
think that's what
faster.
I think that's what she's saying. You're happy for the access. It's fine. We're not judging.
No, 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 no,
Remember,
no. Internet
we don't
has
judge here.
internet has been revolutionary. It's being used for a lot of things.
Mhm.
There's education right now. People are doing online school. People get to do research. People search for jobs. People have meetings because of the internet. So that is one good thing that came from the internet being fast. However, the motivation behind I am not for.
Okay.
So I'm just
Yeah, I
putting it out
mean,
there.
it's a great leap
Hmm.
from, if you think about it, back in the days. I still remember, I mean, growing up, there were those magazines. You'd have, the
You
the
had
Playboy
magazines? I'm joking.
magazines. Bro, bro, I won't lie, bro. Like, I had a cousin,
Okay.
and he had them. He had access, so yeah, we had access to. So it was more, and I can tell you, like, that's the first time I actually saw a porn magazine, and I was a kid, and that was crazy. I was like, whoa. So now, and I'm looking at it retrospect, like what we had then
Mhm.
and what's available now,
Mhm.
miles. Like, it's back then it was difficult because you had to hide the magazine again,
Mhm.
because the parents could, you know how it is when you're kids, your parents go through your
Yeah.
stuff like that. They could easily find out your stuff. Then, I think along the way we got introduced to ETV. So
Ah.
ETV had like some
Oh yeah.
adult presentations going on
Okay.
in the wee hours of the day,
Oh yes.
of the night.
Mhm.
So there was that hustle. You had to stay up late
Mhm.
to actually watch pornography. You had to stay up late
Mhm.
to access it, and it was risky because you could fall asleep, and it's plain piece. I mean, you're kids,
Oh
and
yeah.
probably you just, yeah. I had a friend once who slept watching.
Wow.
So he just fell asleep, and his body worked on him, and yeah,
It was bad.
they had to talk. Yeah, it was bad. So it's
It
crazy, but
is.
that's that's how people had to then enter the internet.
Mhm.
I can actually attest and say I had access to the internet in primary school, right?
Mhm.
And that's the first time I actually got to access it online.
Okay.
And the thing was, you would access it on, we're using Tel One back in the day, so you had like this DSL
Mhm.
um, connection. It's quite different from what you have now, which is ADSL.
Yeah.
With the DSL lines, what would happen is if someone calls on the main telephone line,
Uh huh.
everything just freezes. So you won't get in. If you were online, you just go offline.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
yeah, similar to what happens on your phone. That if you're using your phone, like if you're using mobile data,
Mhm.
and someone calls you, wait, that's what happens with phones, right? Like if someone calls you, you go offline, right?
Oh yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's
So
something like
that's
that.
yeah, that's what we had back then with DSL. So that was crazy.
Yeah.
And to watch, you couldn't watch anything because it was quite slow for that. So what would get were pictures. What I would get were pictures,
Mhm.
and it was we had a lot of myths on, you shouldn't type it in this way because they'll know that you're a kid.
Which is actually
Yeah.
quite interesting because they say that the average exposure for a child is 11 years old, but obviously,
Yeah.
with now the internet involved, it's
Mhm.
probably way younger. We probably have 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds getting
Yeah.
access to this kind of media from their phones,
Exactly.
from
It's
TV, even from
yeah,
music.
yeah. And if you look at it, it's like I'm just going through like the timeline of pornography, at least uh in terms of access.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, way when I was still like a very young kid,
Mm-hmm.
doing magazines.
Yeah.
Then we had the ETV era where
Yeah.
you literally had to, if you wanted it, you'd record
Uh,
and store it, whatever, or wake up at like in the wee hours of the night
mm-hmm.
to watch it. Then we got to like actually internet access,
Yeah.
and it's slow, but we would access it in pictures,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we got to a stage where we started getting phones, and I think this was
Yeah.
for me. I got my first phone in, was it grade seven, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, grade seven.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I got it, the Motorola Razor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get people to transfer files to your phone, and
Funny,
that
I'm just
coincidentally,
thinking about how space was like how now people have space issues, but people were sharing
uh
these on like little Motorola's
exactly.
that didn't even have that much space. I mean,
That space,
mm-hmm.
yeah. Because those are the days that
Uh-huh.
Bluetooth changed the game
Yes.
in terms of access. Before we give props to the internet,
Yeah.
we need to give props to Bluetooth
Mhm.
because it's how these files were able to circulate. So
Yeah.
if you're in the high schools, I know at my school that's how it circulated. If you had a phone,
Mm-hmm.
you just you know yeah, someone just sends you your Bluetooth item, you have it, that's it, you're able to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it started, right? And I mean, then we got to the internet, like when internet fully developed, and
Yeah.
now we have access to streaming. People can live
People
stream.
are now on
Uh,
Facebook, on Twitter.
People now on Facebook and Twitter. I was shocked now when I actually noticed that you're starting to actually get porn on Twitter, which
Yeah,
was weird
it is.
because I'm like, this they should be blocking this
I
stuff,
know, I know.
but they're not.
Mm-hmm. I think
Yeah, so
I
it's
think it's also
yeah.
worth mentioning, well, that during that time, I know that like there were magazines that people had and they were prized possessions for some people. I remember in third grade, there was this guy. He was notorious. I won't mention him just in case he's now someone's dad. But like this guy had cards, like playing cards, but they had images. I don't know if you ever came across those.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Like I was saying that they were playing cards that had images. So I remember
Oh yeah.
like this one guy that I learned with in third grade brought them to school. He had a stack of magazines and he also had cards. So that was the very first time I saw anything like that and I was traumatized. Yeah.
There were those as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely it's something that has existed in our society and communities
Mhm.
for the longest, but we just are ignorant of the fact. People act as if it doesn't really exist,
Mhm.
but it actually does because um, it exists.
It does. It does.
It exists. It's a fact. Um, you know, People are doing it,
Mhm.
and we shouldn't really shy. Okay, well, people haven't really been talking about it.
Yeah.
The conversation is more like a taboo to really
Yeah.
sort of like bring up because people are of the impression that, I mean, you can't talk about it, but
Yeah.
it's something that we really need to talk about
Definitely.
because a lot of people are engaged in it, and there are certain repercussions
Yeah.
associated with it.
Definitely.
And the fact that we actually people actually get to do this
Mhm.
and no one actually talks about it
Yeah.
is a bad thing, because at the end of the day, you're going to look at a generation of addicts
Yeah.
who die silently. I mean, of late you've had celebrities who have just started to surface, and just sharing their own experiences and just telling people like what's the deal, what they started struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for example, I think Terry Crews,
Oh, wow.
he went out online. He's like, guys, I was addicted to pornography.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching porn every time, and it started to affect me in my relationships and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And that's the reality, and if we just share about that, because I mean, as Africans, we have this uh sort of tendency of shying away certain things,
Yeah.
certain topics. We really don't want to talk about it because I mean, I want to talk about
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, true.
But if you think about it, that's really the stuff we're supposed to be talking about, because people being affected by it
Mm-hmm.
either way.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting that people will not talk about this. And the fact that people don't talk about it makes it even worse because people just keep digging and digging deeper into their grave, not knowing that this has serious repercussions. Like, for one, it really disrupts the way you interact with other people. This is according to a research that I'm
Hmm.
reading. So, like,
It does.
people who are addicts or who watch a lot of porn tend to have detachment issues when it comes to proper relationships. Then you have people who can't even be dating anyone for a um, set couple of months or even years, and then you wonder, okay, why are people always just breaking up in this society? And this could actually be attributed to the fact that this person is addicted, now they have attachment issues. And there's also the fact that because it's attached to a lot of shame, there are people who isolate themselves and they don't interact, and all they do is watch porn. There are people who have terabytes of storage just dedicated to this. I was talking
Yeah.
to a friend of mine who's into IT, and he was telling
Yeah.
me that, most of the times when people come and their computers are dead and whatnot, one of the main reasons why people's machines will be crashing is because they watch porn on there. And usually, when they download from these sites, they come with little viruses embedded in there.
Viruses.
So, usually, you're thinking, okay, this person, and it's like dignified people, and you're like looking through
Yeah.
their machine, and then you go to their history, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what you've been doing. So
Yep.
I'm sorry for letting out the secret, but
Yeah, I mean, you see, that's the other thing. I mean, people try and act as if it's a big secret. We now need to go on out there and just face the fact.
hmm
It's no longer a secret.
yeah.
Everyone, majority of the people are doing it.
hmm
Majority of the people are watching porn.
yeah.
And it's a habit that most people are doing. And the point that the problem is, we make it a secret.
Yeah.
Because when you make it a secret, when you don't actually go out in the open about it, and people don't actually address that or really look at it as a problem,
hmm
um, we just now create a bigger problem. Because now
yeah.
look, we now have a society that is full of unrealistic expectation.
Exactly.
Just look at the standard of, for example,
hmm
people now have unrealistic people in their heads.
yes.
You know,
hmm
you have weird people in your head. Like you're thinking, okay, this is how a person's supposed to be like. But then
hmm
when you look at the average, the normal person going out there, you're not going to see that.
yeah, definitely.
Whatever's whatever you're seeing in pornography or the people that you're seeing there are not the
Are not
average
real.
people. The guys you see, they're not the average guy.
hmm
The girls you see there are not it's a whole lot. And the thing is, because you keep on watching,
hmm
you have this continual reinforcement of, okay, this is what you look for. This is what makes it good. This is what you should be looking for. I'll just give like an honest example. Like, there's an overinflation of organs
uh-huh.
in pornography. So now think about it. You're walking around. and just objectifying. This is applies more to guys. I'm not sure about women. I really haven't done the research, but
Mm-hmm.
for guys, it has been the more we're watching.
Mm-hmm.
The more a guy watches porn, you get desensitized.
Exactly.
You're looking, I mean, you're watching porn every day. You're seeing
Mm-hmm.
all these unrealistic people. You're seeing these women with big behinds and big bosoms, and then you go out in the road
Mm-hmm.
and you see the normal people, the normal girls, the normal women. You know, they're no longer as attractive. And to make it
Yeah.
worse, there's a porn. The industry is not just ending on. People think that porn is just on Pornhub
Yeah.
and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But then the industry is trickling down. It's now creating an ecosystem with Instagram, Twitter,
Yeah.
Facebook, because you're watching porn, right? Okay, wait, you actually don't maybe don't actually watch porn. You actually start on Instagram.
Yeah.
You see all these um people, inflated people on Instagram. You see these Instagram models. Like I've noticed, like the and rise
Mm-hmm.
in women just showing off their bodies, and I've also found out that most of them are using, I don't know, medical whatever procedures to get their behinds exaggerated
Mm-hmm.
and the bosoms inflated and stuff like that. So you're having all these sexually revealing figures on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
that have links that will take you to OnlyFans,
Yeah.
and from OnlyFans you're now then at the end of the day you're at Pornhub
Yeah.
because it's now a cycle, and at the end of the day you just 24/7 you're having this continual reinforcement of big boobs,
Yeah, can I
big
just
ass,
cut in
big boob.
there? Can I just cut in there? I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
reinforcement might be the proper word. This is just my opinion, because from researches that have been done, it's been seen that usually people start watching what might seem harmless. So in the beginning, someone is watching like maybe something that's not too crazy. And the more they watch, the more crazier the things that they start watching. So every time it's like a drug in sense. The first
It
time you
is.
take cocaine, you're going to take a small dose. The next time,
Yeah.
that dose is not going to give you that hit that you really want. So you're going to go for something else. And so like when you start off on Instagram, you're probably seeing someone who's posting pictures that are enticing, that are inviting somehow, if I should use that word. And then you get curious. And then maybe that person then says, I've got an OnlyFans. So the next thing is
Yeah.
you're going to be like, okay, let me check out their OnlyFans. You get to their OnlyFans,
Mhm.
and then, wow, things just go out of proportion. You're addicted for a while. Then maybe at some point, OnlyFans isn't doing it for you. Then you're like, okay, let me check out and see what else is out there. You start checking out other OnlyFans accounts. From other OnlyFans accounts, maybe it's a little bit expensive, and you're like, oh, let me go to Pornhub, which is free. And on Pornhub, there's like a lot of stuff. Um, in a document that was created, okay, I came across this on the internet. I'll look for the reference. They were saying that in a year, Pornhub creates material that's enough to last
Mhm.
169 years worth of watching without stopping. In a year.
Wow.
In a year. That's the
That's a
content.
lot.
That's a lot of porn. So when we then look at the structure of Pornhub, I know it's part of MindGeek. The way it's been set up is that the content is user generated, right? That means I can come with my video and
Yeah.
upload. And because they don't censor, they don't have a way of verifying how old people are. We have children's videos that are being uploaded there. We have people who've been trafficked whose videos are up on there. We have people who have
Mm-hmm.
had, that revenge porn that we were talking about. Someone got into an argument with their boyfriend or they broke up, and this guy is like, no, I am having none of that. And then they take a video that they made uh, during a happier time and they go and upload it on Pornhub. And,
Yep.
there's a lot of abuse issues that are then involved because as much as people are watching and enjoying this, I've seen that like there have been issues where people abducted women and raped them while recording it and then uploaded the videos on Pornhub. And
True.
you then see the kinds of things that someone is exposed to, and according to psychology, it's making people more aggressive because 88% of the stuff that you find in the porn industry has aggression. And by aggression, I'm talking about pulling of hair. That's aggressive. But because people have watched too much, they actually think it's a normal thing. There's slapping involved. And
Mm-hmm.
now people have watched enough slapping and, well, we can even talk about strangling, chains, whips, and all of that. This is violent activities that people are normalizing, and people don't realize that they're watching it and their brain is being conditioned. And how your brain is being conditioned is you are now associating a violent act with pleasure. You are now
Mm-hmm.
associating the objectification of women as, oh, they enjoy it. You could probably watch someone
Yeah.
being raped and you feel like, oh yeah, they enjoy it. So these are things that are being ingrained in your mind. And once an opportunity for your fantasies to become reality comes, you're going to do it. This is how we have, you know, acts of sexual violence happening, rapists, and all these serial killers who feel like, okay, now I've actually got the opportunity to do what I saw. Like, people don't think about it like that, but then it's played out like that when it then happens.
True.
Mm.
Yeah. Because I mean, now people are just you're watching all this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all your brain knows, you
Yeah.
know. And unfortunately, that's how you're gonna think about, like
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying that we're now associating certain things which are actually
Mm-hmm.
violent. We're actually associating them with pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it now becomes you now have a society where it's very hard on one end to promote, you know, uh, activism against gender-based violence,
Mm-hmm.
or to promote against women empowerment, or really sexual
Yeah.
harassment, and all those issues, because on the other end of the spectrum you have people watching all this stuff,
Yeah.
right? And their minds are conditioned to saying, hey,
This is actually good.
when a person, yeah, so this is actually it, this is actually good, this is what they're actually looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other spectrum, you have people that are trying to say, no, this is actually not normal, this
Yeah.
is abnormal, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it becomes you open up a huge disconnect,
Yeah.
because at one end, you are trying to say, hey, stop women harassment, sexual harassment,
Mm-hmm.
but you have people who are being schooled by what they're doing to say that, look, this is the thing, this is how you should actually act out in society.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, and the fact that this is one broad subject, or one subject that is always silenced.
Yeah.
Like, people don't actually talk about this,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just leading us down a bad path,
Exactly.
to be honest.
Because
Now, I wanted to,
mhm.
yeah, go
I
on.
wanted to say, consider this, right? Let's say a woman was actually beaten up during a sexual act and she wants to go to
Yeah,
the police. And then she goes to the police, but the police officer that she's reporting to is a porn addict. So whatever this woman then says to him, He's just thinking, are you crazy? This is how things are supposed to be, you know?
Yeah,
So we have
you know.
people who are supposed to be, in positions of power who are exposed to this, and this affects their general outlook. When they look at women, now they have a certain view. This is how you have men who can't even recognize a woman's talent because they're so addicted to porn and they view women in a certain way, they can't see them being
Mhm.
capable of doing anything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it again also just further pushes the bound because I mean, go back to the whole IG
Mm-hmm.
leading to OnlyFans, leading to Pornhub.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain way, a revealing way in which these models dress,
Yeah.
right? And the moment someone dresses in such a way,
Mm-hmm.
a girl dresses in such a way, it doesn't now click to the no, to the porn addict
Yeah.
that this she's just dressing. She's just dressing. She's not
Mm.
inviting you for anything.
Yeah.
To him, it's like, all right, this is what she's saying.
Yeah.
You get it because
Mm-hmm.
in his mind, this is what he's used to,
Exactly. You know,
and it's yeah.
yeah, I think, that this is how we have. I think we talked about this in some episode where we talked about, that whole Copacabana is like situation where if a girl is to go to Copacabana and she's wearing like a short skirt or short dress, people will
Yeah.
start calling out her name a certain way or start calling her names and start harassing her verbally, and it might even turn to physical. And I'm thinking, partly this could actually be part of the reason because one of the psychological effects of this is people become verbally abusive to some extent because they're used to this conditioning where they feel like they can say whatever, they can do whatever, and most of it involves a lot of domination and humiliation and degradation, and they now feel like they can do that in public to anyone they see.
Yep.
Hmm.
It's you just said it. We are breeding a generation of animals.
Which is scary.
It
It
is.
is.
I mean, now it's. I was watching Chris Rock's new Tambourine,
Okay.
something Tambourine. That's his one of his movies,
Hmm.
stand-up comedies actually. And he gave he gave his experience of pornography in that show, and he was saying that he got to a point where he just couldn't watch regular porn.
Hmm.
Like he needed to have an Asian chick
Oh my word.
as a, like the way. Of course, he's just now exaggerating for fun to make a joke, but then what he said was, to me, I needed an Asian person mixed with a black person uh, and whatever. Like to him, it was no longer just watch the normal stuff and that's it. It had to be
Something
in a
crazy.
certain way, something crazy, and that's the reality.
Wow.
There are people out there that cannot no longer just watch the regular stuff. They want crazy stuff. They
Hmm.
want certain sequences in which they want their stuff presented.
Wow.
Like it's so weird. I was on Reddit just reading about it,
Uh-huh.
uh, and the testimonies that are shared there are just out of this world.
Mm.
You have people that will not even blink. You know, they can. Some people no longer have like normal sexual desire towards normal people
Wow.
because normal people are not enough. You know,
Wow.
so you have men that are pushing the agenda of objectifying women.
Mm-hmm.
So think about this. You now have this kid or this gentleman or this guy
Mm-hmm.
who's so he's so into this, is so addicted in such a way that normal women, all of you normal women, are no longer normal, are no longer attractive to him,
Yeah.
right? So to him, uh, he has no business with you.
This
you
is
you get it?
scary. This is a scary thought that someone is actually
Yeah,
going to
it's
grow up and they are
yeah,
just going to look at women as objects who are
yeah,
supposed to enjoy humiliation and pain. Women are supposed to represent objects that are, a representation of pleasure. They are just
yeah.
objects that can be cut up, mutilated, and physically hurt. I mean, this is like some serious stuff.
Exactly. And that's the basis of why relationships are not we're now having, divorce rates that are on the high.
Hmm.
It's also largely caused by this because from both testaments of Terry Crews and Chris Rock,
Hmm.
they both said they'll go to the bedroom with their wives,
Hmm.
you know, yeah, do what they do with their wives, and then it wouldn't be enough for them. They'll then go to their private offices and go online.
Wow.
Yeah, so you find because
And you know what? I just
when
need to
you
say this,
yeah
not to mention that actually having access to some of these prime quality, I'll put that in quotes, prime quality material is actually expensive to access. So that means someone is dedicating an entire chunk of their earnings to accessing pornography.
that's very true. That is very true. A lot of people are spending, so it's not only time using your resources, money.
Hmm.
People are using money to access some of these resources and to get some of this stuff, and it's bad because some people are getting bankrupt,
Hmm.
because of this, and it's so damaging in such a way that if you do not, the thing is, if you do not realize it, you will go down the drain and you won't actually notice what's happening to you until
Yeah.
it's too late. Because I mean, I wanted to say this. The whole point of pornography is it's in such a way of telling you that you have options.
Yeah.
They're not saying stick to this one person because I mean, it's not you have one person that you have to, it's not like superhero movies where Superman is always Clark Kent.
Yeah.
It's Clark Kent. It's always Clark Kent. So you grow to love Clark Kent.
Hmm.
With pornography is there's a lot of different people
Hmm.
and a lot of different people offer different things. That's sort of the message that they subliminally endorse or push
Yeah.
forward to you because you look at every if you, I mean if you really study it,
Hmm.
these guys are just not randomly picking people.
Yes.
They're getting people in different categories to sort of give you or uh, spike or spark a different type of ideology or thought in terms of preference. Like, okay, I can try out this. Okay, I'm bored with this now. I can try out this. So that will translate in real life for most people
Hmm.
because when you have a partner,
Yes.
when you actually get into a proper relationship with a proper partner, you can't switch.
Yeah, and I think this is why we have so much scandal when it comes to relationships and people dating, people getting married, because there's now this other window that shows you that, oh, there's other things that you could try out there. And now
Yeah.
people have this, oh, yeah, so since I don't have this, maybe I can try a little bit of this, but also keep that. And, see,
Hmm.
it's actually leading to moral decay because now we have people being promiscuous and all because they want to. try something, and it's being conditioned in our brains. When I think about conditioning, I also think that it's not even just the videos that we're talking about, but even the music that has highly
Mm-hmm.
been sexualized that people are listening to, that has conditioned people to view women a certain way, view men a certain way, and slowly it's kind of making the society very immoral and accepting things that we initially never would have given time of day.
Yeah, because look at it now, everyone is just on it. It's
Hmm.
everyone wants, yeah, it's you go everywhere. I actually got off Instagram and Twitter
Hmm.
um for January, and I'm going again for February.
Hmm.
The amount of sexual content that was now starting to come up on these two platforms
It's
were just becoming, you know, unsustainable, unmanageable. You
it's alarming.
any Yeah, like every page, there is everything that's being reported has to do with sex, and it becomes disturbing because the more you listen to it,
Hmm.
the more you feed yourself with that information,
Yeah.
the more you start to think, oh, okay, I think this is okay. I
Yeah.
think this is how life should be like.
Exactly.
But that's not how life should be like.
Hmm.
It's not normal for all these things that we now have seeing happening to happen. It's not normal.
Hmm.
It's not how life should be. People should be normal people. Morally,
Yeah.
uh, our moral standards are going way lower than we had, and it's with the rise of there's this one page on Instagram, Zim Celebs.
Okay.
Uh, to me, when I followed it, I think I was following it because I thought it had like some. I was just wanted to keep track of what's going on in Zim, and
Yeah, yeah.
follow up with the whole Janimbi story and stuff like that because I figured that's how I could get information.
Hmm.
But now it then became like, yeah, gross. The
Yeah.
amount of stuff that was there was no longer just, it was fine back then with follow through with the whole issues, what's going on, but then now it's just crazy. You have all these things going on, and
Hmm.
talk of revenge porn.
Yeah.
I was just listening to what's this Sadza in the morning
Okay. All
podcast.
right.
Shout out to those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they mentioned something about revenge porn actually
Oh.
with Lumumba. They said apparently Lumumba had a scandal with university students. I didn't follow up on the story to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Twitter apparently,
Okay.
and Nick was actually saying that they actually posted Lumumba's stuff online, and I'm like,
But
is that really
I mean, I mean, I
necessary?
mean, this is what we're talking about. Like, I don't know what the law says about this in our country. And I think
Mhm.
maybe we should get an episode where we actually get someone who knows more about the law and what it says so that we actually talk about this, because
Yeah.
I don't understand how people get away with this, because this has been
Yeah.
happening for like a very long time. And people don't understand that once you leak someone's videos or photos, it really affects their reputation. I don't know. Maybe
Hmm.
I've never wanted revenge enough. I don't know. but 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 I feel like it's just too steep. Like, you can get angry at people. Maybe we also need to put like some anger management in there. But like, How do you
Hmm.
do that? Because when you do something like that, it's not just going to affect that person, it's going to affect their family, it's going to affect their job, it's going to affect a lot of different things in their life. So when you do decide to go that route, maybe we don't understand. We've never been in a situation where we thought like, oh yeah, I'm going to find this person's videos and leak them to the world.
Yeah.
But shouldn't that be something someone gets arrested for? Distribution, even
Hmm.
sharing. And whoever does that, I mean, I think they should get like a really steep sentence.
Yep. So I think there is actually a certain bill. Just looked it up here. It's the Censorship and Entertainment Control Act.
Okay.
Apparently, it was institutionalized in 1967, so it's kind of old.
Okay.
And its purpose was to control obscenity and blasphemy in media.
Okay.
But and of course, it does ban like distribution, publication of such stuff. So I think in Zimbabwe, if you're distributing porn, you can be arrested actually. Uh, if you're publishing, you can be arrested too. But then the problem is
Mm-hmm.
in the digital age and with the way these platforms are set up, you don't know because sites like Pornhub have a way in which they anonymize
The
the
person,
publisher.
yeah.
Yeah, so you only get to see the actor or the person within the implicated
Mm-hmm.
persons, but you actually don't see who actually posted that because that person will be anonymous. And as part of their plan, or really the reason why people are using them,
Mm-hmm.
they will never actually disclose that information. They made it in such a way that that information will never be disclosed because they want to protect the person who's publishing, who's more valuable to them because he's giving them more content.
But then,
So it's
I feel like
yeah.
they're protecting a lot of criminals as an organization.
Yeah, that's the double-edged sword about this because these guys, to them, look at this is a business for these guys.
Hmm. I mean,
These guys are profiting off you guys watching this stuff.
I mean,
So
it's I just want to say this right now to people who watch,
mhm,
because people will say, oh yeah, you guys are going to talk about the moral aspects and whatnot. But I just want to put this out there
mhm,
that if someone is an addict, they are watching materials that have been submitted by criminals and people who are profiting
mhm.
off these addictions of theirs. So they should really think about that.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
Hmm. Because I mean,
It's
think about the revenue that the porn industry makes. Last time I
mhm.
checked, I heard they make about 97 billion US dollars
This is a bit.
per
This is a
year.
billion-dollar industry.
And
Trust this is.
how much do we make as a country? I'm like, I am shaking to my core right now. It's scary.
This is a. Let me actually pull it out here.
And who benefits from this money? This is at the
They do.
this is at the expense of people who are raped during their videos, people whose videos are revenge porn, people who have been abducted and tortured for the videos,
Hmm.
people who've been coerced into doing things they would probably not normally do, because I feel like this industry preys on a certain type of people, because obviously if you are economically well, it's not going to be an option for you. So I feel like
Yeah.
they could actually target people who they see that, oh yeah, this person doesn't have enough money to do what they want, and they lower you so that you feel like, oh yeah, I'm getting money to do whatever, but you're actually being roped into a whole industry that you have no business being in. And
Yeah.
it's
To
a
actually put
choice that you would have never made in different circumstances where you were economically sound. So I feel like they prey on economically disadvantaged men and women, and this is a cause for concern.
to actually just to put things into perspective for everyone,
Hmm.
in 2006, right,
Yeah.
the pornography industry generated $12 billion in annual revenue,
Wow.
which is larger than the combined annual revenues of ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's in 2006. And obviously over the years, this number has actually increased,
Wow.
right? Yeah.
And who benefits
Talk
from
about
this?
that.
Who, like, I've never heard that Pornhub is giving money for COVID or, okay, maybe that's an
No,
extreme.
I mean,
This is money that
but
they
then
are
that's
just using for their luxury at the expense of people that are being abused.
yeah, but then that's the whole point. That's the whole point of them being like a business. It's like Facebook and the way they exploit your information and all that. It's for their benefit. They get the money. They get their investors. Their investors are happy. Their investors get fat pockets and go to their families, and that's it. You know, it's now up to the problem comes down to the consumers. You know,
Hmm.
because these guys are creating this content, and if you don't watch it, these guys don't make money. If you do watch it, these guys make money. Now they get $97 billion per year.
But
That's the annual
but
current revenue.
let's actually talk about this. Their
Mhm,
industry has aggressive marketing. When I say aggressive marketing, I mean maybe partly people can be blamed because
mhm.
people like downloading music, right? And
Yeah,
the moment you go to these pirating sites where you download music, you just don't get the music. There's always some pop up ad that's showing something, and people then get hooked if they're not like really focused people.
yeah,
And
true.
it's everywhere, but we don't have enough useful information that's actually out there. I think that maybe we should have a campaign where whenever an advert of that nature pops up, another advert also pops up saying, do you know that 17% of the people in this industry are HIV positive? Do you know that 66% of these actors have herpes? Do you know
Yeah,
that, like something that makes people aware? If we can have that on a cigarette packet, for instance, where they tell you smoking is
mhm.
harmful, at least we should have something that's similar that shows people that the content you're about to watch, it could be of someone who was trafficked. The content you're about to watch, it could be of someone who was raped. The content you're about to watch could be of someone who was being discredited by.
But then that's the thing. I don't think they would knowingly do that because um, for them it's they openly allowing or accepting that they know that some content that's on their platform is actually of questionable origin,
But then
which
are we
will
then saying that the people in the porn industry are untouchable?
legally I guess they are.
So why
Because
is
look at
nothing
this, Vina.
happening? Why is nothing
Well,
happening?
like, well, look at this. These are billionaires who have set up a business in such a way that um, they're providing content. Because remember, outside of, you know, Pornhub is more of like a platform,
Hmm.
and its purpose is to distribute
Uh,
or to get people access to these videos, right? So it's like a YouTube of pornography.
yeah.
Uh, these guys really don't care what content you're posting,
Okay.
as opposed to YouTube. It's like YouTube. YouTube doesn't really care what content you're posting, as long as you notify, you play around the guidelines. If the content is safe, you're not like right now they have issues on COVID, so they have some guidelines on COVID. But as long as you're not saying anything that is against their guidelines,
Hmm.
they're happy with you. They don't really care what you post.
But then
So similar thing applies with
mhm.
sites like Pornhub, because primarily their job is to showcase porn. So obscenity is amongst acceptable stuff. But then they won't tell you that, hey, we don't want to have your picture or your video of you, of a trafficked person, because they'll tell you, well, no one would actually tell anyone that, hey, this person was trafficked.
Mhm.
And for them, it's content, so they'll just put it there. So it's sort of
But
it's a weird
but
thing.
you
I don't
know,
know what can be done.
like when I think about like certain organizations here in Zimbabwe, right? For instance, I know like companies like Delta, they have
Hmm.
social responsibility. So it actually then comes at an advantage that, okay, as much as we are selling alcohol and our bottles are causing a lot of, pollution, this is how we are giving back to the community. And I know in certain countries, the higher the social responsibility, the higher the benefits, I think, in terms of taxes that you then have to pay and things like that. Why can't they be controlled? Because I feel like this whole industry, they're just out of control. The law is said or written in words, but there's no
Hmm.
actual action. There's no actual way in which these people are being held accountable for the actions that they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a story that happened. I'm not sure when it was. I think I'll look that up again, where a girl was abducted at gunpoint
Hmm.
and she was raped. This girl was like 11 or 14, thereabout, between that age range. And then her videos, it was like 12 videos that were about 48 hours long or something like that were posted
Hmm.
of her on the internet. And then this girl was eventually found, but her abductors were never found. And BBC actually then intervened because there was this whole thing of, we need to know who uploaded this because this is a child, and they said they couldn't disclose that information. And then the next thing that they requested was take the videos down. And it took a whole war for those videos to be removed. It took a year. And we're talking about a minor whose videos are being
Hmm.
exposed, and this is going to affect them in the long run. Because I feel like once something has been put out there in the internet, on the internet, sorry, it cannot be taken back. Even if you then delete it, people have screen recorded, people have saved the video, and this could potentially hurt you in the future.
Yeah.
So for people in an
Yeah.
industry that's this big and this bad, they should be held accountable. They should be held accountable for the things that they're doing and the repercussions that they're doing, and they should be paying for it in some way.
I think that's currently what's going on in the world right now. And there was an article here that surfaced that Pornhub needs to change or be shut down.
Hmm.
Where hashtag not your porn was campaigning against uh, leaked sex tapes. They're actually saying that leaked sex tapes is not a genre, and consent is mandatory. But then what happens now is Pornhub is on that stance of, hey, we don't produce this content. And whatever content we publish or that's on our platform, it's done by, it's by consenting adults, and whatever it is, it's freedom of expression. So they have legislation that protects them because they're not actually recording that. People are recording that and putting it up.
But
So
people
for
are
them,
using
it's,
their
hey, guys.
platform. People are using their platform the same way on TikTok. If someone records a certain video, it can be taken down. When the
Yeah.
former U.S. president was tweeting things that incited violence, he was taken off permanently off Twitter, and he got a warning and all of that. So why can't we have that sort of thing? That if you can't show that there's consent, if you can't show the age of the people that are in this video, then your content will not be posted. Not that I'm even advocating for content to be posted to begin with, but I think this would be a good start
Uh-huh.
because there's a lot of
I think,
underage people whose content is out there.
true. That is very true. But I guess it also, again, still comes back to the fact that to these guys, this is the stuff they want. And to be honest, they don't want to be reviewing this stuff anyway. I noticed there was an article I saw in which one government was saying it's not the government's job to review every porn video that's out there. So, so essentially, the government was saying, hey, we can't be using resources to be on these sites to watch every video and find out that the stuff that's actually there is, I mean, it's all obscene, so can't really do that.
Mhm.
But anyway, I mean, there's been, then last year, I think, still going into this year, there've been a lot of protests against that and investigations into, I think, Pornhub actually took down some videos, a couple of videos that had to do with child rape, spy cam videos, racist,
Mhm.
misogynistic content, and all that.
But
I think
I
they've,
don't think it's
yeah.
enough for them to just take down the videos, considering that they're making billions every year. People should
Mhm.
receive compensation.
Who?
The victims of these videos.
See, that's the problem now.
Hmm.
These guys actually don't because from the way I've learned of the industry,
Hmm.
you have like legitimate porn companies. They're companies that actually produce porn, right?
Hmm.
So these guys use um, Pornhub as a platform to sort of piggyback traffic to their own sites.
Oh.
Yeah, so Pornhub doesn't necessarily have to pay anyone. These guys make money independently. They just use Pornhub as a platform.
Mm.
Unfortunately, there are people who now post these videos on the platform because I think you can just post your videos. It's like YouTube.
Hmm.
You post your videos, you don't expect anyone to pay you, right? Then when you post your videos there, you're not getting compensated because it's the business model does not involve compensating the actors. If you want your actors compensated, you need to actually set up your own business. So that's where the problem is. These guys are not. The business model is actually not paying people. They don't pay people for the content. People put their own content and monetize on their own.
Wow.
And I mean, this being the porn industry, it's like these big companies, like these porn production or porn studios, if I can call them that,
Hmm.
they obviously have their own separate sites. They obviously have DVD sales, subscriptions going on, and all that. And these guys now advertise on Pornhub.
Wow.
So it's yeah. So for these guys are just opening up a platform where, hey, if you want to advertise your porn, come to our site. We'll do that for you. Then you can actually now sign up to some premium stuff. on these individual companies. So I think that's where the dilemma comes in, because Pornhub is not saying that we are the ones who are creating this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
they are not supposed to pay you and pay anyone anyway,
Yeah.
because that's not their business. The assumption is you're doing this as a way of promoting your porn business.
But
So
then
it's wow.
for the businesses that do it, I understand. But then what of the people that are whose videos are involuntarily put on their platform and need to be taken down, and they have been exposed and they are refusing to take them down and it's damaging? Shouldn't they receive some sort of reparations?
I think it's again because of the way these guys are set up. Um, that might be difficult in that uh, when your video is posted. So let's say I post your video online,
Hmm.
right? These guys have no way of knowing that you did not consent, because I'm
That's
just gonna
where the problem starts. They should
yeah, because I'm
request
just gonna
evidence of consent before they put it up on their platform.
now for them that's now their argument is that's not our problem.
Wow.
Yeah, you see, their point now is that's not our problem, because it's like YouTube. You can record other people without their consent and post it on YouTube, right?
Hmm.
YouTube is not going to ask you if whether or not everyone in your video consented to actually recording. It's now up to you.
But
So
then,
it's now
but with,
if I record you and put you on
uh-huh.
YouTube and you do not like that, you have to make a suit against me,
Yes.
not against YouTube. Now, in the case of uh, Pornhub, I think that's the same case as well. If you do not consent to your video being posted, you need to go directly to the person who posted, because it's not Pornhub who posted the video. The person actually went on the platform, up, created an account, and posted that.
But I just feel like this is just a technicality for them to just further their interests. Because if they really
Yeah,
wanted to control the type of content that was on there and who could post, they really could. I mean, on other platforms, Instagram, I mean, even Twitter and Facebook, if your content is too much, if it shows any racial discrimination, if it is too exposing, they will take down your post and you'll see your post gone. So if there's no evidence of consent,
yeah, but then,
they should also do. I'm sure even on YouTube, you can't just post anything.
uh yeah, but then that's the thing. That's what I said about the guidelines.
Hmm.
Every platform has its own specific guidelines,
What do
and
the guidelines for porn say? I think we really need to find that document and
that's the
analyze it.
thing. Guidelines.
We
If that's
need
a
them.
this, because think about it. Pornhub is like the dark corners of the web,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
These are the dark sites. So essentially, what they do is whatever you guys have do not get to see in the light, we give you in the dark.
Ah.
So if this is a dark site, first, first and foremost, if you're going to raise it up, it's okay. So what were you doing there in the first place?
Yeah.
you know. So it's this is the dark corners of the web, right?
Yes.
So there's little to no moral, because just look at it.
Yeah.
This is not a moral place. Yeah. So these guys are anti-morals. They're not really. They're saying, hey, you can't post that on YouTube, but you can post this here. I think the guidelines, if they see you posting a Jesus or sermon, they'll take you down.
Wow. I think I'm actually going to try that. You know,
I think they'll take you down.
we'll like
I think
we
they'll
will
actually take
record a
down.
little sermon talking about the dangers of porn and what the Bible says, and we'll upload it there and see what happens. I think
I think they'll
I
actually
think we should do
they'll
that.
take you
I
down.
think we should do that experiment to see what happens. Honestly,
Yeah, we can do that and see what happens.
if
But
they
you
take
see,
it
so that's the
if
thing.
they take it down, then we have a bone to chew. Because if they can take down something that promotes morals, and then
Mhm.
they protect criminals, I mean, it's just a loud message to their values and what they stand for as an industry and
But
as an
then,
organization.
no, but then, I mean, when you start going through with this conversation and bring up such a point,
Hmm.
uh, just these people are not of the same. They don't share the same values with you.
Yes, yeah, I
We need to accept that.
true.
So you need to accept that these guys are not for what you believe in. So what you deem as bad to them, that's good, you know?
Yeah.
So naturally, they see no problem with what's going on their platform.
Mm.
It's up to you to decide whether or not you want to. Because, I mean, first of all, these guys are not saying, hey, come watch our videos. They're just there.
Mm.
You People go there on their own.
Yeah.
So if you are making a decision to go there and watching their content, um, yeah, that's their market.
Mm.
Those are their people. They're not really out there to say, "Hey, we're morally upright place." No,
Yeah.
that's not their business.
Okay.
That's not their business. They're not out there to be morally. And I think the other problem here is even if you report a video and they bring it down,
Mm-hmm.
chances are people have already downloaded it
Yeah.
already. Yeah, so it's just bad, man.
It's really
If you
bad.
ever get your video, yeah, if you ever get it, that's it. It's done. It's because once it's there, people have already downloaded it. Other sites have already copied it. It's already available on some other sites across the world. So yeah, it's bad. And the problem is, we're only talking about Pornhub,
Mm-hmm.
but there are other sites,
Yes,
and
true.
some of the other sites are not actually uh, regulated by the US.
Yeah, some are just there going about their business and regulated and getting away with all of these crimes.
Some are not, yeah, some are not even regulated,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them are not even legal.
Yes.
Some can't even be shut down because there was this one site that had like 16 mirrors across the world. So essentially, they had a mirror in 16 countries.
Wow.
So that means if you block them in one country,
They're still up
they're
in another.
they're still up in another country. And the other thing was, no, you couldn't trace to find where they actually are from because they were just so maxed, so hidden on
Wow.
the web.
This
So
internet
it's
is
it's
getting
only
scary.
no. That's the thing. That's what I was saying. That uh, it's not that this internet it's now getting scary. It has always been bad.
Mm-hmm.
You're only getting exposure now. It's We always had the dark web growing up. Growing up, I was new of the dark web. There's the dark web. It's stuff happens in the dark web, and scary stuff happened in the dark web. And if you go in the dark web, you're in the dark web, and you do what the dark web does. But uh, yeah, people are now starting to get access to it now and starting to seeing what's going on. So I mean, right now you can only MindGeek. It's a reputable company in the sense of legalities. Like it's a actual company that you can address.
Yes.
But there are other sites out there that are hosted by teens. You can actually create your own site.
Wow.
right now. You can just set up your own site, put it online, put your content there. No one will attack you.
Wow.
Right now, you just go straight on Pornhub, download the stuff they have there, and put it, because I mean, this stuff is not even copyrighted.
Wow.
So you can take the stuff from there, put it on your own site, and that's it. Or you can just make your own site that just redirects to Pornhub. Or what? So
There are
it's
so
so
many
crazy.
angles to this, and the fact that people can do this and get away with it is the scary part.
No, people have been doing this and have been getting away with this for the longest. It's That's why some countries are starting to actually uh ban like porn
Hmm.
as a whole country. Because you need to understand that if you're going to, the only way to actually address the situation is to up your game digitally as a country.
Yes.
And in countries like the US, this is not going through because it contravenes people's right to expression, freedom
Yes.
to do what they want. They want to express themselves and they want to record themselves.
But at the
That's what
same
they want to
time,
do.
I'm just thinking, shouldn't the government have the right to stop people from harming themselves? Because this is harm.
I I don't think they. In this case, it's the government has no right because I made my video. I want to make my video, so the government cannot. That's impede on my right
Because
to
at
freely
this
expressing
rate,
myself.
I feel like then someone can just say, "Oh, I felt like I needed to murder someone. It's my right. You're impeding on my freedoms. You're infringing my rights to freedom to do whatever I want." So,
No, I mean, I think the law is you can do, because I think in the States, if I still remember correctly, they actually can allow you to take whatever medicine you want to take as long as you do not distribute it. Because there was this case of the early HIV issue,
okay.
like when HIV initially started to kick off,
Hmm.
way back in the days, and there wasn't the ARVs and all this that we now have.
Yes.
AIDS was still a new virus, and there was no treatment for it.
Yes.
And the only treatments that were there were trial and experimental drugs that were not FDA approved.
Hmm.
People could actually, there's this one guy who actually was allowed to take the drugs by the government because he was allowed to use them for his personal
But
use
not to distribute.
and not to distribute, because the government says, I think the US government states that as long as you're only doing it to yourself, you're not doing it to the other people, then it's your choice, that's what you want. So they have no law against that.
But
And I think if you look at it, that's pretty much what it is. If you want to do something bad,
hmm
if you want to take drugs, you that's your choice, right? But then what they can only do is stop you from distributing drugs to other people.
wow.
Yeah.
So
So it's yeah,
it's just a lot to take in. I think we'll need to do like a part two because there's still a lot that needs to be exhausted in terms of this issue. Um,
that is true.
there's just a lot of aspects: social, physical, psychological, economical issues, even. I mean,
Hmm.
because, it got me asking a lot of questions like, do these people even pay taxes? And all of that. There's a lot. There's a lot. And, deep in my heart, the main issue that I really think that, we should push and dissect is the abuse that's
Hmm.
actually involved in the making and the distribution, the harms that it causes. I know, like, we didn't get time to actually get into like the actual harm that it does to a person who watches. And we were really focusing mainly on the actors and all of that. And, we need to get
Yeah.
into that. So, I would like to just pose a question to our listeners that, how do they think that this issues can be tackled? How can we then like regulate this industry or ban it if that's the best solution? What is the best solution to tackle the problems that this whole industry is causing, I really look
Yes.
forward to the
True.
comments, the interactions. People should, let us know what they think, because this is a very heated topic. People seldom talk about it, but we
Hmm.
decided to start that conversation, and hopefully it will be helpful to someone. Maybe in the next episode we could actually, also talk about how maybe people can deal with their addiction, and who they can get a hold of if they need help and things
Yeah,
like that. Because once we start this conversation, we just don't want it to be a conversation, but we actually want it to change lives and make an impact,
that is very true.
hmm
And I mean, guys, if you go on the MindGeek website, you'll be blown. Your mind will be blown.
hmm
This guy's website is so clean. Like, you wouldn't even think these are the guys who are behind. Just to get everyone to know, MindGeek is the actual company behind. It's a private conglomerate.
hmm
Um, it's a pornography conglomerate, by the way,
hmm
and it has more than 100 websites,
hmm
production companies, and brands.
hmm
So yeah, Pornhub is just one of their sites.
yes.
They have a lot more. They have a lot more, um, and they have branches across different countries.
hmm
So this is a big country. This is a big company. That's yo. And I was just on their website right now. They talk about they even have vision, mission, join our team.
Wow.
Their website is just saying
Open for
they are an
business.
SE, they're search engine marketing.
Wow.
That's what they are. Yeah, their services. I'm just going to go on their services here. So their services, search engine marketing. The MindGeek search engine marketing team develops successful strategies to ensure top ranking in search engine traffic. We work closely with our clients to provide clear understanding, to clearly understand their businesses, requirements, vision, and needs in order to provide the best customized solution. We grow online brand exposure by developing and collaborating social media with search engine marketing tactics. Our search engine optimization team is dedicated to uncover the best keyword combination to target exposure, ensure sites are compliant with search engine behavior, checks for the best user experience, and provides performance optimization and website architecture tactics. That's these guys.
Wow.
That's this guy. So they have that. They have Traffic Junkie. They have an ed platform. They have hosting, uh, and they have media content delivery. Those are their services.
And you would
So
never know. You would never know.
yeah, you would never know. So I'm just gonna say, can you just open up the website? Did you open up the website?
Let me just
MindGeek.com.
look at it.
Just look at it. It's surprisingly clean. Like wow.
Wow.
You can even apply for a job at the MindGeek.
At this
Says it's
point,
still
at,
open.
at, at this point, I just feel like, people should be aware whenever they come on the internet and they're searching for something or a company or work or whatever, research on the company, because you never know what you're signing up for.
Yep. So, yep, that's it. I think we need to work on a second video of this topic because this there's so much and we're already an hour and a half into it.
Yeah.
So I think we should just provision time for another episode, part two
Mm-hmm.
of this video. And guys, if you really want to jump in, uh, we'll really need you guys to just jump in and we can talk about this
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, find out more information about this industry
Mm-hmm.
together.
Yes. In my parting, I think I just want to say that this is going to sound hushed, but if you were triggered by this episode, this is probably for you. You are one of the people that we're looking for, and we need you to hear what we're talking about because it's important. We're really trying to save you. We're really trying to make you see, the other side. You've been clearly
Yep,
seeing the other side that has been giving you pleasure this whole time, but you need to also consider this side and to see if it's really
that's
worth it for your health, for your mental well being, for your future relationships, your current
mhm.
relationships. So if you were triggered, this is probably for you.
That's very true.
Hmm.
If this, I mean, guys, this is out for you guys. If you feel like this is triggering,
Hmm.
yep, this is for you. You need to know this. This information you need to be aware of. And yeah, I think we'll get more into the dark side of this on a personal level,
Hmm.
like what it does, not on a personal level, but then what it really does to you, the harmful side of
Hmm.
pornography. I guess that can be the next discussion.
Yeah.
So
And
I don't know if you have anything else to say.
I'm also just saying that I just want to also invite anyone who's out there who's a porn survivor, um, so that we can, have your story. It could really impact someone's life. So if you're willing to share, if you're ready to share, reach out. We will be glad to share your story. If you want to be
Yep.
anonymous, I'm sure we can, work something out so that people don't see your identity if that's what you want. But like, we really need people's stories as well because, people need to know that this is real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a safe place. This platform is a safe place. So if you really want to share your story, reach out and, let's change lives.
Let's do that. So, guys, thank you again for joining us in this episode. And we're gonna have a remix, a retake, second part
Yes.
of this one. Hopefully, guys, you can come through with your stories, and we can get to put you on this platform.
Yes.
So, until that time, thank you for joining us, and can't wait to see you in another episode.
Yes. See you guys.
Cause I've been running from the world and from myself. Now I'm not afraid of failure, cause the vision clearer. I've been having conversations with myself. Need to know myself better and be a go-getter. Cause I've been running from the world and from myself. Now I'm not afraid of failure, cause the vision clearer. Why don't you tell me what I'm missing? I'm speaking all this time, but I could tell they never listen. Nah, I put the keys in the ignition. Driven by success, but all my dreams are feeling distant. Married to the game, but honestly, I need a mistress. Been in the world for a while to know it doesn't work on wishes. Now I'm bootstrapped in the booth to make a hit list. And I ain't talking about the one with targets that I came in, but I'm anxious. Should I pull the trigger on these haters?